There we go, Mets fans. There we go. We needed a flame-throwing lefty in this Mets bullpen. So what does David Stearns go ahead and do, everybody? David Stearns goes ahead and lands the best flame-throwing option outside of Aroldis Chapman, who we all know is not going to be traded by this year's deadline, and that is Mr. Gregory Soto. How are we feeling, Mets fans? Thank you guys so much for chiming in for our latest Metropolitan breaking news segment, as the Mets have officially acquired flame-throwing lefty there from the Baltimore Orioles, who we just faced not all that long ago, and Gregory Soto. Who had Gregory Soto on his thumbnail for his latest top 10 Mets trade targets? It is your guy Wardy, just from this past week. Why? Because Gregory Soto checked off more boxes than most for this Mets bullpen as a high leverage option, as well as a flame-throwing option. That's a perfect contrast from someone there in Brooks Raley. I'm very excited to get into this breakdown, everybody. We're going to let you know where initially this reporting stems from. What did the Mets give up for Gregory Soto? And newsflash, it was literally little to nothing, which is as good of a trade that you could ask from David Stearns. Yes, I completely understand the criticism that come with David at times, and you're saying to yourself as a Mets fan, oh great, he made one good trade, now we're all going to jump on the bandwagon. It's not that, as it is, we have to appreciate a good trade for what it is, and everything on the forefront tells you that this is a fantastic one. My reverse psychology work, kiddo. There we go, Frank. Frank was talking in the chat the other day saying that we're not going to get anybody. I said, listen, we're going to get somebody, and this is a fantastic start, everybody. So I want to see all the hype in the live chat. I want to see your initial reactions in the comments down below, everybody, as we live react and break down in real time what the Mets are getting here and veteran lefty Gregory Soto. My template that I'm going to show you guys on Soto's stats, I will preface, they might be off by just a couple games because I made this template going back to around a week ago, so I apologize if it's off by just a couple games, but it's still going to be relatively correct. I'm going to show it to you guys in a second, as well as what he's currently doing, all of his numbers right now. What is that pitch mix for Gregory Soto? There he is striking out Dominic Smith when he was on the Phillies last year, facing off the Red Sox. There's Jaron Duran. Sayonara, see ya. This is a fantastic bullpen weapon that I just can't get over. Everybody calling him, look at all the haters already. Tell me you're a casual without telling me you're a casual. If you genuinely think Gregory Soto is trash and is not an upgrade for this, get through your thick skull, that the Mets are just one injury or problem with Brooks Raley away from going back to Dickie effing Lovelady as their sole lefty option in their bullpen. Beggars can't be choosers here. You want to know what David Stearns just did? He went out and landed quite literally one of the best lefty options he could have possibly landed leading up to this year's deadline. I understand Danny Coulombe made a lot of sense to a degree, but what was Danny Coulombe's biggest problem? Too much of an eerily similar profile as a soft-tossing southpaw to Brooks Raley. If you're going to have two quality lefties in your bullpen, the first thing you should be doing if you're the New York Mets is to land someone that's contrasting to your other quality option in Raley. Raley, the soft-tossing southpaw, how do you pair that? You bring in a flamethrower that sits 97 to 100 on the gun, who's going to strike out everybody and your mother. Yes, he's going to have some absurd walk rates, and yes, there will be times where we may want to pull our hair out before the season ends, but that is what happens when you have an electric reliever. We all know this very well with Edwin Diaz. We've seen this to lesser degrees at times with Ryan Stanek when he's been all over the place and can't locate, or say to a certain extent Huascar Brazaban. The point I'm trying to make is, everybody, is that what the Mets did last year trade-wise, Huascar Brazaban, I would rightfully argue that no one profiles better there than Gregory Soto does. So even out of all those previous reliever acquisitions, I will make the rightful argument that Gregory's up there, if not the best reliever pickup that Stearns has done since becoming Mets Pobo, then certainly right up there. And we're going to expand as to why that all is here in a second, everybody. And Juan says we made a trade, huh? We made a trade indeed, my guys. And as you guys can see right here, everybody, this is Soto's stats as of the past week. So if they're off by a couple games, that's why, just because I made this graphic from the last time we spoke on him. But hit that like and subscribe on as you guys chime in, everybody, for the latest breaking news. Gregory Soto is officially coming to Queens now for a very ideal trade for both sides, especially if you're a Mets fan. I don't think you can complain about this whatsoever, everybody. But before we get into more on Soto, I want to thank you guys all so much for hitting that like and subscribe on your way in. Folks, we are less than 200 subs away there from 34,000 subscribers on the platform, and we are giving away, yes, Yes, you heard this correctly. We are, in fact, giving away a random Mets jersey of whatever player you currently want on the team to one lucky subscriber. And all you guys got to do is subscribe to the platform. Once we hit 34,000, we'll be doing a live show exactly a week from that point on, and a post-game show, among other things. We'll be giving away the jersey to one lucky member in our chat during that time. So hit those buttons if you guys haven't already. And one final thing from your guy Wardy, because I have to do it now especially, is shout out our amazing sponsors there at SeatGeek that have you covered for all of your ticketing needs. Make sure you guys head over to SeatGeek and utilize our promo code Wardy10. That way you too get 10% off your next ticket purchase. Link down below, hyperlinked if you guys have the app downloaded. Thank you so much for that. Shout out Moomoo, the official trading platform of the New York Mets, BetUS, that has you covered for all of your sports betting needs in the cloud that we'll get into later on the show potentially, as well as our official Wardy Day, everybody, that is now right around a week away. If you guys have no clue what I'm about to talk about, listen up right now, and then I promise we're going to break everything down with Mr. Gregory Soto and what the Mets are getting here. Listen up, everybody. It's Wardy here, and as you can see, we are at gorgeous Citi Field, and folks, you can get the ultimate, the prime experience with your guy Wardy at our first ever official Wardy Day. August 1st, Mets, San Francisco Giants there for the evening game. The day after the MLB trade deadline, you, your friends, your loved ones, select Mets fans will get the ultimate experience with your guy Wardy. Not only are we going to hang out at the ball game together, but folks, look at this seating. We're going to be live here in the left field lounge. You guys will be able to chop it up with your guy Wardy. We're going to be debating as to who's the best pitcher of the rotation outside of Kodai Senga. We're going to be talking about who's the next best prospect to get called up. How do we feel about the trade deadline acquisitions? And guys, as you get back up here then, we are going to be giving you a $18 drink voucher, and with that drink voucher, you guys are going to be able to hit up the bars that we have right outside of here. So easy, so accessible. Again, prime seating, a truly fantastic experience. Our first ever Wardy Day here at Citi Field, guys, where you will get a chance to hang out with your guy Wardy. And the best part too, not only is it this amazing lounge in left field that you guys will hang out with me, but we're going to be on the field, pre-game access there for a group photo op. So I hope to see you, all you amazing Mets fans there. Click the link if you guys haven't already there to check out our available tickets, and let's go Mets. And not only are we going to be sitting here throughout the course of the ball game, you guys can also check out these seats that we have access to all here in the bar area here, right at the Milagro, where you guys can utilize your $18 drink voucher. Again, this is going to be at Wardy Day, August 1st, 2025. Oh wait, yeah, almost forgot. It's also fireworks night. Bang! Hope to see you guys there. All right, folks, again, Wardy Day tickets, we have less than 10 available. They are pinned in the live chat. You can check them out in the description down below should you have interest. Hang out with your guy, Wardy. We're going to have such a blaster. August 1st, day after the deadline, when we have all day long Major League Baseball deadline coverage, not only here, but as well as in the Bleacher Report app, as I'll be live for multiple hours for BR as one of their main hosts, as well as here on YouTube. But how we feeling, everybody? What is the initial reaction to Gregory Soto here? That's what your guy Wardy wants to see. Let's get into Soto. Zachary Bass with the $2 haul. Thank you, Zach. He says, happen as I tweeted my perfect deadline with Soto. You love to see it, baby. You really do. All right, guys, let's get into what exactly did the Mets give up here for the flamethrower and Gregory Soto, because I'm sure that's the next question that many of you guys have, and let's get into this. As we see from Mark Feinsand there of MLB, it was initially broken from Manny Martino, as well as Joel Sherman of the New York Post and others, John Heyman, have all reaffirmed the Mets are giving up the following, everybody. Right-handed pitcher Wellington Arasana, who is the Mets' current number 19 prospect per MLB pipeline, and Cameron Foster, a right-handed pitcher who isn't even in their top 30. This is what we're talking about, baby. If you're going to acquire a rental reliever, you better make sure that you're giving up nothing more than two back-end prospects in the 20 to 30 plus range, and that's what the Mets exactly did. They gave up two prospects that they're not going to lose any sleep over, and they become anything that we'll worry about that down the road when we have to worry about it and say, damn, we didn't get it right with our player evaluation. In the meantime, the Mets just added a huge force into this bullpen, and as you guys can see from the numbers down there, there's certainly a lot to be appealed by. We're already at 100 likes as well, so thank you guys kindly for hitting that like and subscribe on your way in as we're breaking down the latest Metropolitan trade as they've officially acquired Gregory Soto here from the Baltimore Orioles. Now, Soto's numbers are ever so changed from the time of you guys seen down below. It says a 3.7 ERA. The funny thing is that since I made that graphic, his ERA is actually raised, but all of his expected numbers have went down, which tells you that all he's had is more bad luck. luck with the infield and outfield configuration around him there in Baltimore. Soto's at just under 11 strikeout per nine and over a 4 walks per nine, so you don't love a K to walk ratio, but you know that hopefully the Mets can get this man right there in their lab. And for everyone saying, uh-oh, the Mets have a guy with a decent walk rate, let's not forget that when Adam 4+ walk rate north of 5. David Robertson, when he signed with the Mets entering the 2023 season, had a walk rate of 5 the year prior or so, but that did not matter because the Mets got the best out of both these guys in different sample sizes. In Adam, it was 2022, a little bit in 2023, and then obviously things kind of fell apart from there, which was unfortunate, which nothing but the best for Mr. Ottavino. And then in the case of David Robertson, everybody, D-Rob was nails for the Mets in the first half of that 2023 season. I think it's fitting that we mention David Robertson right now, everybody, because the Mets just lost out on D-Rob to the Philadelphia Phillies at a prorated deal of $16 million, where he's making 6.6 or so this season. Then the rest he's going to be making that's backloaded, what have you. The Mets would have loved Robertson as a dominant reliever option, not only because he does so great and has been so well for so long, but he has reverse splits, and Robertson is as good of a lefty killer as they come. Even as a smaller statured veteran 40-year-old right-handed reliever, he does great things against left-handed batters. So what did the Mets do as a proper pivot after not landing David Robertson? They landed a lefty southpaw who can do his absolute best to get a lot of these lefty batters out, and obviously he's not opposed to getting righty batters out either, as you guys can see from all the highlights here. Soto obviously had highs and lows during his time with the Philadelphia Phillies. I remember him specifically going back to his time with the Detroit Tigers, where he really stepped up. Let's see. Was there Apologies, everybody, if I had an audio hiccup there. We may have audio hiccups from time to time. Just let me know in the live chat if they get too bad. If they do, then I'll switch to my other my other mic option. It just might be a bit more echoey. I think it's just because a lot's going on right now, and I do apologize for that. But as we continue on, though, everybody, Gregory Soto actually has a 3.9 ERA, but his expected ERA has since dropped. It's only around 3.34, which is the craziest thing. So what you see with the expected numbers tells you that as long as Gregory is given the right opportunity, he's likely going to thrive here. And then we get into the arsenal of Mr. Gregory Soto, which I am a big fan of, and I'm sure not only Desi Drewskull, Jeremy Hefner, Eric Yeagers, everyone in that Mets pitching lab likely feels the same. And the Mets aren't done, everybody. I'd like to make that clear also. Just because the Mets made this trade does not mean that they're not going to make any more moves to the bullpen. There's a strong likelihood that the Mets are still going to land at least one more quality reliever, especially when they got literally Gregory Soto for little to nothing, even as a rental option. These are Soto's baseball savant numbers here for the season, everybody. As you guys can see, he's right around league average in pitching run value, 40th percentile in fastball run value, 57th in breaking run value, 54th in off-speed run value. He's 74th there that we see in expected ERAs, 83rd in expected batting average, 86th in fastball velocity, 41st there in average exit velocity. So even for a guy that throws 97 to 100, he's not giving up absurd average exit velo, just below league average. So we make note of that. Chase percentage just above league average in the 56th percentile, whip percentage 87th percentile, K percentage 82nd percentile. Walk percentage is down because, like I said, he's a flamethrower. That's a little bit of a wild thing, so he's not going to command the zone too well every single time out there. But we see barrel percentage 94th percentile. Why is that important, everybody? It's important because what it tells you is that batters are not barreling this man whatsoever this season. And to make things even better, the hard hit rate is league average. So again, a Gregory Soto that's got the sink piece that he throws 52% of the time at 97 to 100 on the gun is not getting barreled at all. Then you got the slider at 36% of the arsenal, that's topping out right around 87. You got, or should I say, sitting right around 87. The four seam at 9% of the arsenal is throwing 97 to 100. We see the sweeper that he has in the back pocket, only 2% of his arsenal. He has that right around 84 miles per hour, and the splitty at 1% of the arsenal, everybody, is at what we see 89 miles per hour. What do I see right away, everybody? What do I see? I see all four. This is big. This is big news. I know this might seem silly to you guys because I understand the velo is the main reason why the Mets brought in someone like Soto, but let's also not forget what this Mets pitching lab loves. It's the 4S's, as we love to call them, right? It's the sweepers, it's the slideys, it's the splitties, and it's going to be there in the sink pieces. All four is what Gregory Soto has in his arsenal. So if you don't think that the Mets are excited about bringing in a flamethrowing lefty like this, I got a bridge to sell you. This is very exciting news if you're a Mets fan right now. And going back to what the Mets gave up, it was little to nothing. I can get over that fact, but I love the fact that the Mets are still primed to be adding. And as we see from Will Salmon of The Athletic, shout out to Will, great friend of the platform, he just reported after adding Gregory Soto, the Mets still had multiple additions to their bullpen. League sources said, so the Mets still want multiple relievers even after bringing in Soto? Oh, we are cooking. We are cooking. Ryan, I actually called this on the platform over a week ago, so he's not the only one in that category. I think actually north of 10 days ago, we did our top 10 Mets trade targets video, and one of my favorite relief options I had in there was Gregory Soto. He makes endless sense for this team, and once we realized that Aroldis Chapman was not going to be had, that there was no chance that the Red Sox would be trading him away, we had to think, what are the proper pivots of a flame-throwing lefty option be added into this bullpen next, right? Because there aren't an abundance of them, right? When we think of flame-throwing relievers, naturally we're not thinking nearly as much lefties as we are thinking right-handers in the game. That's why you think of guys to a degree in Emmanuel Clase, Yon Duran, those guys come to mind right away as like quality, true, high leverage guys. You also think to a degree in the nastiness that comes with a guy like a Griffin Jax, who I really like a lot. I would love to see land in Queens. But when we get to lefty options, Garrett Clevenger sits around, mid-90s, really nice lefty option, but are the Rays really going to sell him? We don't know. There weren't a lot of others out there, which is what made Gregory Soto stick out like such a sore thumb. So much so that I think it would have been silly, and I think we all would have been frustrated if we saw this same Soto get traded to a different contender while that same contending team gave up, again, back-end prospects. Everybody and their mother would have been saying, oh, great, Sleepy Stearns is at again. Of course Stearns can't make a pickup for a quality southpaw reliever, let alone a flamethrower. Well, folks, he did that. He actually got on the ball and made this happen. And now that the Mets are still active in the market for other relievers is telling that what David Stearns said going back to his media day this past week is holding true. The Mets are far more inclined to add multiple relievers that can obviously have high upside in their bullpen and are obviously having a floor that isn't nearly as bad as these constant DFA candidates, i.e. Dickie Lovelady, among others in their bullpen, by adding guys that have a floor that, isn't necessarily the best, but isn't the worst either. Gregory Soto at his worst, we know what he is. We know who he's going to be. In case you guys don't know now, I'm going to reiterate it once more. He definitely can struggle to command the strike zone. He throws absolute gas, and there may be some outings where we look at Soto and we say, oh my God, buddy couldn't even get one single out. It shouldn't happen too often, but I'm just saying that is as bad as it's going to get for Soto. Think Ryan Stanek level of just having no clue what he's doing out there, but at his best, think if not Ryan Stanek level, then above that in the sense of a flamethrower that'll go out there and potentially strike out the side. Could you guys imagine a world, and this is the most hilarious part because my buddy Mike from Stark Raving Sports did not love the idea of bringing in Gregory Soto, and I told him, buckle up and get ready. You say that now, but this same Gregory Soto is going to go out and have massive punchies on his former teammates in Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber. And what are you going to do then? You're going to tip the cap and say, thank you, Gregory. That's what I'm envisioning right now. This is a perfect full circle story for Gregory. He's back in the NL East after just being there a year ago. Now he's on the better team and the better bullpen. Oh my God, I can't wait for when the Mets match up with the Phillies again. It's either going to be batting practice or we're going to look cooked, or it's going to be the opposite end and we're going to see Gregory Soto dominate and look fantastic there in Mets orange and blue. Let's get a roll call going to the live chat, everybody, and then we're going to continue on breaking down this very exciting news that the Mets are bringing Gregory Soto for two lower end prospects. For those are unaware, the prospects that the Mets gave up in this one are again 19th overall there that we saw in the MLB pipeline in Mr. Wellington Arzana. I know that my guy in Isaac Rothman, who is a fantastic pitching contributor, not only for myself, but does a very good job there for the Brewster Ice Caps there. Really, really smart young mind, Isaac, that you see in the platform. I know Isaac did like Wellington a decent amount. I'm not sure what his status was on Cameron Foster, however. Again, Cameron wasn't even a top 30 prospect ranked by the Mets. And the best part is that the Mets did this for a rental without overpaying. So you guys can try to spin this any which way, shape, or form that you want if you're going to be a David Stearns hater. But the problem that you're going to find yourself having is that there's no immediate route to say that the Mets lost this trade. The only way that the Mets lose this trade, truthfully, is if Gregory Soto is batting practice and never amounts to being even a sliver of what we were hoping he was going to be for this team. So much more now versus last year, Triple. Yeah, unfortunately, it happens at times, and I believe I understand the reason for that, but I apologize. I hope the audio hasn't been too brutal in this one. If you guys get unbearable, if you guys think the audio cuts out too much, please be honest and let me know, and then what I'll do is I'll switch to my other camera. It'll make things a bit more echoey in the sense that you'll hear more of the room around me, but the upside is that there will be no cutting in the audio whatsoever. So whatever you guys prefer there is fine by me. 2K per walk and career 4.5 ERA, perfect for middle relief, just what we needed, more of the same. Gumbo, oh my goodness gracious, you're going to hate when you see Gregory Soto utilizing high leverage then, my friend, because he's going to be utilized in high leverage no matter how much you love or hate it. You will see Gregory Soto and Brooks Raley flip-flop between different high leverage opportunities. But the point is, and this is what's so important about this kind of pickup, everybody, after you already have a guy like Brooks Raley rolling the way that he is that you put yourself in a position where if, say, Raley isn't giving you the best right now, you can defer to Soto. If Soto isn't giving you the best right now, you can defer to Raley. Making sure that you have more than one quality lefty option there in that bullpen is so important. And without having more than one quality lefty option, you're going to find yourself dealing with some frustration. But let's get a quick roll call at everybody watching live on a replay. We got Scott H in the chat, and to our north of 1,000 viewers, everybody. If you guys could do yourself a big favor and hit that like and subscribe button for your guy Wardy, help us get a 500 plus likes to, again, half of you guys just got to hit that like button right now. So our replay viewers, the same applies. Again, thank you so much for that, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way in. Let's see there. If Heyman said something, then I'll get to that in a second. Juan, thank you so much. We got Will in the chat. How we doing? We got Nody in the chat. We got Mike Nixon, great member, going up the list. We have Andres. We have Racing Fan. We have Scott H. We got 99 over 22. We got Gumbo. We got Steven. We got William. We got Jimmy. How we doing, baby? We got Aaron. How are you? Aaron, again, congratulations on the teaching gig the other day. We replied to that comment. I'm not sure if you saw that. Brandon, how we doing? JC, Juan Diaz, great member in the chat. Steve Long, great member, going up the list here. Justin, how are you? Go Mets, great member. BR, how we doing? Going up here even more. We got Dwayne Banks, Matthew Zico going up here. Bastian, how are you? Andres, how you doing? Matthew Martell, Mr. Delightful, great member, going up here. Ethan, how are you? Jonathan Nevels, how you doing? Triple Crown Media, how are you? JTB, 1189 Paris, going up here. Dwayne Banks, how we doing? Dash X, how you doing? Brandall, Keto Rising, Tom, Scott, hey, Scott in the South. Harrison, how you doing, my friend? We're going up here. Jordy, how you doing? Justin, how are you? We got Omar Nunez. We got Mo. We got all you guys chiming in live on a replay. If I miss any of your guys' comments, I do apologize. Doing the absolute best I can when we got north of 1,000 people in here. So Wardy's working on the fly the best way that he can right now. And Pure Adrenaline Sports, I'm a big fan of this trade as well. Obviously, I like a lot of the moves that my team tends to do, and naturally, it comes back to bite me in the ass. But this really feels like one of those that has rightful reason to be excited. And let's see now what John Heyman had to say, everybody. While I find out what John Heyman tweeted, we're going to go ahead and show you guys more Gregory Soto highlights, because why not watch the future, hopefully dominant reliever there for the New York Mets. We got Borna, my dog, in the chat. If you guys don't know BornaNYM, one of the best minds in all sports. Little do you guys know, used to be a hog, is still a hog, but is even doing bigger and greater things than before. We got Eddie, how we doing in the chat? JC, PGG, thank you so much for chiming in. Let's get into this and let's see what John Heyman had to say. The best part, everybody, and that's why I was ready for this right away, is I was just about to cook a video that I had for you guys, but now I'm going to probably cook that video either later on today for you guys to drop later or for tomorrow. I'm not exactly sure yet, because the Gregory Soto news did throw a wrench in things just a little bit. I don't see anything new from John Heyman on the front of Gregory Soto. It was just that he was one of the first to break that the Mets are in fact bringing not John Heyman in, but that they're bringing Gregory Soto in. The other that I saw initially broke this was Andy Martino of SNY, and beyond that, I saw Joel Sherman reaffirm and stuff like that. Let's see. And this is what I mean. Don't knock your monitor over your heart on. That's hilarious. I said, David Stearns, you beautiful SOB, for how much I like this trade. And that was one of the first comments I got on X. I can't even be mad about it, because here's the thing. This isn't a dumpster diving move. I completely understand the Mets brought in, a guy who, say, threw 98 to 100, but has himself a 5.5 to 6 ERA, and the expected numbers are horrendous. If the Mets did that as their next lefty option, I would have been just as pissed off, if not more, than each and every one of you. Thankfully, that is not the category that we is getting the Gregory Soto splits this year against lefty batters in particular. The Mets are going to go out of their way to acquire a flamethrower like this. They're doing it because of the lefty matchup as well. And if I do have, again, any audio hiccups, guys, that are too egregious, please let me know, and I will switch over to my other audio setting. Not a problem. Let's see here. Greg Soto splits. Gregory Soto. Let's see. Now, he does have nasty stuff. Oh, he really does. As we take a look at Gregory Soto's splits here, everybody, I have it pulled up now. Let's go to this season, and I'll also do it in comparison to maybe last season too, if they're drastically different or not. Okay, against left-handed batters this season, hype me up. Oh, I love this even more now. I love this even more. Oh, I'm salivating at the mouth. Okay, Gregory Soto, 43 games, 70 plate appearances, 58 at-bats for left-handed batters that he's faced. This season, he has given up an opponent batting average of 138 and a 547 OPS. When facing right-handed batters, they're certainly batting better, but not necessarily great either. 276 average, but it's 726 OPS. And the reason why that is notable is while there's been more contact against Greg, which makes sense because I'm sure he's serving up some meatballs there against right-handers. It's going to happen naturally. But it's also the fact that he's not giving up power. That's the big thing here, right? If Soto is giving up contact to righties, you want to make sure that he's not constantly giving up gap-to-gap home run power. And he isn't, because what we're seeing right now is a 355 on the slug. He has far more of a problem keeping these right-handed batters off the base pass than he does actually giving up bombs or doubles of them. So that's encouraging at least. And again, against lefties, he is as good as any there. How can you attend Wardy Day, Musi? I have tickets available in the live chat for you to check out right now, my friend. All you gotta do is click that link that's pinned at the top of the chat, and you will see the available tickets for you guys should you have interest. Again, guys, we have just under 10 tickets available to anyone that still wants to partake in Wardy Day. It's our first of many awesome events we're going to be doing at Citi Field each and every season together, and it'll be me, a bunch of you Mets fans together, getting an exclusive left field lounge where we're going to be separate from basically everyone else. A really comfortable seating. You can move around easy so you can see hop whenever you want, if so you don't want to be stuck in one certain area. We have a roughly $20 drink voucher, so at least your first beer or so is on your guy Wardy, and you get pregame on-field access, and I will be reaching out to all of my amazing Mets fans who have actually purchased tickets already shortly, everybody, as you guys will be getting an email in the coming days to let you guys know where we're going to meet up and ultimately when we need to meet up by there for the pregame on-field access. So all that stuff, fireworks night, day after the trade deadline, so there's a great chance that some new Mets are going to make their debut that game there for August 1st against the Giants. Check it all out. Tickets still available in the pin chat as well as in the comments down below. Thank you so much, Alfred. Absolutely love to hear it. You sold me. Let's go. Let's go, baby. Happy to have you in the chat, Alfred. JC, let's not forget Holmes is going back into the bullpen too before the season ends. That isn't a guarantee, JC, but it is a possibility. And we actually spoke on that possibility, myself and Wolf Salmon of The Athletic, and one of our latest segments that we had on the platform no later than 48 to 72 hours ago. I broke down how it could make sense if, say, you're going to have Clay Holmes in a piggyback outing with one of Brandon Sproat, Noel McLean, maybe to a lesser degree, Jonathan, if not a Blade Tidwell, what have you. And he agreed that would make a level of sense, especially if he's already reaching his innings coming up. Maybe he's a little gassed towards the end of the season here, or maybe he's just not able to give you length. All the more reason to make sure that Holmes is in a piggyback setting, either as a starter for the first 3 to 5 innings, and then you have someone else come in for that bulk relief, like a Trevor Williams, or vice versa, where you have someone else come in as a start, maybe one of the young right-handers the Mets do in fact consider, and then the other way around, you're going to have Holmes come in there for, say, middle on relief, whatever it might be. It's all going to be what is best there that we see for Holmes is not only recovery, but as well as what he's going to perform best as. So the Mets are pondering all those bullpen options. We will definitely see what happens on that front, but I'm really looking forward to seeing how the rest of this bullpen is now going to configure by bringing Gregory Soto in, as well as what is next for this Mets team outside of the bullpen as well. Let's see here. Antonio, my man, congrats. What PO, let's see, what PO address can I send? Oh, that's too kind of you. Thank you so much, Antonio. If you want to send anything my way, never going to say no. It's always appreciated. I can't wait to shout you guys. That actually reminds me, Dave Kaplitz and PB9, you guys know who you are. In our post-game show late tonight, if not in a different form of content over the next 24 hours, I'm going to unveil everything that you guys sent my way, because I have some loyal Mets followers who have sent things my way. Mets merch, not only things for myself, but for my son Shay as well, which is so kind of you guys. I just haven't had a chance to shout them out and unveil them yet because I've been out of town really the past 2.5, 3 weeks now. So now we're finally back in town. As you guys can see, the Wardy newspapers are here. Don't worry, I brought the lobster with me. For those that know the inside joke there, the lobsters from our post-game shows. I did bring one, so I'll be showing that in the background soon enough. I just don't have it on me at this very moment because I had to hop on the computer to do this breaking news. But guys, between what the Mets just did in Gregory Soto, what they're expected to still do for their bullpen, and knowing that there's a great chance that they could add a starter and potentially a bat as well, if the Mets can check off all these boxes or close to, I will be as happy of a camper as they come. But Mets fans, let me know all your thoughts on this. My two girls for their first Mets game tomorrow night. Oh, that is awesome, Mark. I hope you have a blast. Guys, listen to Mark in the chat right now. He's going to the Mets game with his daughters for the first time there for their first Mets game at San Fran. That's going to be fantastic, my man. Hopefully the Mets can get a W for you there at West, but I hope you have a blast. Am I going to be doing play-by-play for tonight's game? I will not be doing play-by-play for tonight's game. Thank you for asking, though. We will most certainly have post-game coverage, no doubt about it. But guys, just to reiterate, in case you guys are either living under a rock, just chimed in, or are not paying attention, it's okay if it's one of those three. I'm not going to give you a problem whatsoever. The Mets have acquired Gregory Soto from the Baltimore Orioles in return for two back-end prospects by the Mets, one being there in Wellington Arasana, who's right around the 19th MLB pipeline prospect for the Mets currently, and Cameron Foster, a right-handed pitching prospect who's not even in their top 30 for rental reliever Gregory Soto, who sits 97 to 100 on the gun, has the 4 S's that the Mets pitching lab loves, and sinkers, splitties, sweepers, and sliders. And on top of it all, this guy is as good as they come against left-handed batters this season, which is a perfect pair along with Brooks Raley and this Metropolitan bullpen. He has given up a sub 140 opponent batting average and right around a 550 opponent OPS that we see there for left-handed batters. Pretty much as good as you're going to get for what this trade was, everybody. So again, continue to relay all your thoughts, comments, questions, and concerns. Where the Mets have brought in Gregory Soto, and this is what we call a slam dunk trade, if you ask me, a slam dunk victory. And for the best part here is that if you're an Orioles fan, you at least got something for a southpaw reliever. Maybe you want a little bit more. I can understand that counter, but given, and this is the most hilarious thing to everybody, and I know you guys might think that this sounds silly, but let me relay it. Gregory Soto's ERA being closer to 4 only benefited the Mets here. And I'm so glad that Buddy's baseline ERA is not as nearly as impressive as all of his expected numbers, because those are the numbers that David Stearns cares about. Those are the numbers that most analytically driven front offices will emphasize. They're not just looking at what you did based on ERA. They're understanding the context of those outings. They're understanding how much of the defense can figure either negatively or positively for that pitcher there in those outings. So when you see Soto with a north of a 4 ERA, but a 3.3 expected ERA, which is actually lower than what you guys see in my current graphic, because this is old. This is outdated by a couple days. That's no later than a week, just because I made this graphic, I believe, either right after the All-Star break or right before the All-Star break. Either way, this goes back to our Mets top 10 trade target video. I'm happy to say for a second consecutive year, everybody, one of the key players that we broke down in our top trade targets video had actually come to reality and landed with the Mets. And the best part, they landed with the Mets before they were reportedly even connected to the Mets. Last year, I kid you not, this time last year, we did a video on Mets top trade targets, and I had Jesse Winker in my top 5 video. I had Winker in there before he was even connected to the club. He just made a lot of sense, especially at the time of the platoon DH option / corner outfield reps, and the Mets brought him in, and we loved Winker, and we would love to see that man healthy and back with this team today. Since then, fast forward a year later, I understand that a lot of players, the vast majority of the players, 95+% of the players I discuss every single year don't land with the Mets, and that's simply because I break down every single player connected to this team, either reportedly or things that we expect to be connected because they check off the following boxes. And even though I break down every single option, the reason why I do that is that you guys are familiar then, or are not overly shocked or surprised when they actually go ahead and land these players. So for the people that say, oh, Wardy, every single player you talk about never lands here, I understand a lot don't. But that's the nature of the beast when I, for a living, cover the Mets and will cover everything regarding the club on the trade and rumor front. You will never see me missing on that as long as I'm full-time doing this, covering our beloved Metsies. But what I will be doing is covering every player under the sun, so you guys should know at least a decent amount about Gregory Soto before the Mets even landed him. If you've been following the content, then you know very well. If you locked in on Gregory Soto there in that series when the Mets played the Orioles as well, then you know very well, as the O's have an abundance of relievers for the Mets to choose from, and I'm so glad that out of all guys that they went with, because don't get me wrong, Sir Anthony Dominguez wouldn't have been something that I'm opposed to. Maybe they do shop there with the Orioles a bit more. Felix Bautista was just shut down. I wasn't expecting that to happen. Bautista can't stay healthy. Just went down with a shoulder injury, so you don't love that. Soto was my personal preference out of all options from the Orioles to choose from their bullpen. He was cream de la creme. He's at the top of the list. So I'm really, really happy to see this come to fruition. Brian Babcock, what an inside joke. If you guys don't know this reference, let me enlighten you. Hey, Wardy, time to break out the chicken nuggets. Time to break out the chicken nuggets indeed. In case you guys have no clue what he's referencing, years ago, going back to when we done like our multi-hour long live shows in the offseason, especially guys, if not the deadline, there would be times where I would go absurd lengths without eating because I'd be live here for hours. I mean, we've done an 8-hour live show on the platform before. OG followers know that. Things have changed since then. Wardy's a dad, and I much rather pump out as much consistent content as I can than give you an 8-hour live show when it isn't necessarily valid or warranted every single time. But what I can tell you is that the fun joke about that is we would have moments where I would have chicken nuggets beside me, I'd get fed biscuits, random ass stuff, going back to even the Trevor Bauer sweepstakes. You know how long ago that is, guys? So if you guys have been followers of the platform since like OG Wardy, then you know very well how long that's been. It's been like 50 years. I know. Cue the meme there from what's-her-face from the Titanic where she says, it's been 84 years. It really does feel like it's been that long since we started. I can't believe it was yesterday that I was doing my first video on breaking news. The first acquisition under the Steve Cohen era is in fact Trevor May, formerly of the Minnesota Twins. Fast forward years later, May, friend of the platform, we've had him on the channel already for off-season breakdown and coverage, and don't be surprised if we maybe have some other former Mets on the channel in the near future. I don't know, guys. I guess you'll just have to wait and see. But guys, so excited. Let's get into this. Let's get into some of your comments, questions, and concerns. I'm not going to be too long-winded with this one, everybody. So as a matter of fact, this is where I'm going to cut things off for our replay viewers. But for everyone watching the live show, we're going to continue on the live show still for another 15, 20 plus minutes, if not longer, because I want to answer a lot of your questions. Finally, trade talks are here. Finally, trade movement is here. And finally, we can get hyped up about the MLB trade deadline. If you guys are enjoying a live show like this where we break down the news in real time as it's happening, make sure you guys are not missing out on the trade deadline coverage that we have for you guys all day on the day of the deadline, the 31st. So we're going to be live multiple times. I'm going to be live for, I'd want to say 3-4 hours. Then I'll be away for an hour or two because I'll be in Bleacher Report, and then I'll be back for the final hour and a half there of the deadline itself. So even the Mets had already made the majority of their moves by then. We're still going to cover it because it's such a fun time to cover baseball. But to all my replay viewers, let me know your initial reactions in the comments down below to the Mets officially acquiring Gregory Soto here that we see from the Baltimore Orioles in turn there for two back-end prospects in the 20 and 30 plus range. Oriole fan here, Wellington, is he a starter or a reliever long-term? That's a great question at it. I would say it's a little hard to judge. I would say he's going to probably profile best as a reliever down the road. There are people in the Mets farm, though, that I know for certain did like him, even though he was more around our top 20 prospect. But I would, without having more than just current educated guess, I would say expect to be right around a reliever is what he would likely top out. I could be wrong, though. If you guys know a little bit more about Arsana, but by all means, feel free to relay in the live chat. But let's get to your comments, questions, and concerns to everyone watching live, to our replay viewers. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. Shout out to our amazing sponsors, as always, that make today's show possible. And let's go Mets, baby.